Once again, I want to thank the Hot 120 Degree staff for allowing me to come out. I'm Mr. H. You see, I got my stigmatized, my color shirt, and on the back, you got the Hot 120 logo. On the back of it, you got the Hot 120 logo. Listen, there's a war outside. Nobody's safe from. I guess I'm stealing from Mobb Deep with that lyric, but it's actual war going on. For those that don't really know, you might have seen some things in the news, but there's a trade tariff war going on between America and China. Might be some other countries involved, but the main countries are America and China, and we can't overlook that. I know because it doesn't deal with community news, a lot of us figure that we can't relate, but trust me, if this gets out of hand, it's going to impact uh, the whole globe, and so it's something that we want to bring attention to. So we're gonna have a discussion on it, and bring you up to speed, so you'll know the speaking points on it, and you'll know how to entertain that conversation when it comes up. So it's a U.S.-China trade war, and these are the two guys right here. You got President Trump, and then you got the president of China, that's in charge of this trade war and making decisions on behalf of their countries. When there's a trade war, that just means that one country will start overtaxing the other country on goods that's being exported and imported into the country. And so that's what's going on now. There's a book out called Currency War. War. You need to go look at that book. Go research that book. That's a good book so you can fully understand what's happening. Um, Trump, I know a lot of us say, well, Trump's a madman and he's doing madman stuff and he's reckless. Um, he may be reckless here, but also there is a long history of documented history of China possibly manipulating currencies so that their currency can remain lower, their dollar can remain lower, their goods can remain lower than the United States, causing people to want to move businesses to China and have stuff manufactured in China at a cheaper price. So that history exists. Um, I'm not saying that China has done that. I'm saying there's documentation out there that speaks to China manipulating currencies in order to keep a weaker dollar so that they can have manufacturers come there, pay a cheaper price, and be able to corner the market, the global market that way. That is a documented history. So as this war goes on, Trump warns U.S. companies not to do business with China. I mean, he literally tells them not to do business with China. That's powerful. You have never heard a president boldly say to U.S. companies, do not do business with China. How far this will go, we don't know, but we do know and understand that this is part of the tariff war. And we're beginning to learn and understand that this war is not just a war of words. This is about billions and trillions of dollars, and it's impacting people in our country right now. And it's wise for us to kind of know what the conversation is and follow it so that we can make a rational decision in reference to how we vote, who we put in office next term, and also to be able to have a healthy conversation in reference to how it impacts your life. Now, China tells America to stop selling weapons to Taiwan. See, a lot of you don't know the history between China and Taiwan, but China feels that Taiwan is a little island that is supposed to be connected to the mainland. And China has also declared that they will use force to reconnect Taiwan. Now, that's not the physical land of Taiwan. You understand what I'm saying? But they want Taiwan to be under their rule, and whenever Taiwan makes a move, the China government wants to be the one to call that shot. Now, what the United States has been doing, this is greater than gang banging. You think gang banging in the streets between Bloods, Crips, and Latin Kings and all that is something. This is gang banging on. This could be considered gang banging on a high level. Now, check this out. This make The gangbanging stuff look like child's play. The United States uh, sold about $2.2 billion worth of weapons to Taiwan. These are military weapons. And that violated China's one policy. China has a one policy. They have more than one policy, but they have a specific policy that they call China's one policy. And that is that um, the United States is not to sell weapons to Taiwan. And Trump administration so-called has approved this sale, which violates that China's one policy. So now China, okay, hold on, I don't want to go too fast. So that's 2.2 billion. The Trump administration has again recently in the last couple of weeks approved the sale of 66 F-16 fighter jets, I believe, and some electric engines and some other systems that's going to help build up the military for Taiwan, which is another sale of about $8 billion worth of military weapons, which is also a violation of the China's one policy. And so what China is saying that for all the companies that helped for this deal to go through, they're going to put sanctions on those companies. So if there's any U.S. companies that are in China that help or are assisting the U.S. government in helping Taiwan get these weapons, China said they're going to impose sanctions on those companies. See, this is big. This is big. These are the preliminary steps to possibly a World War III if this get out of hand. Now, when you look at the tariff war, the trade war between the U.S. and China, and you bring it back home, and you say, well, who does it impact? Well, if you was buying a Gucci bag for $3,500, this week you probably be able to still get that Gucci bag for $3,500. So maybe it has not impacted that yet. But if this tariff war goes on, then that $3,500 Gucci bag may become a $7,000 bag or a $10,000 bag. This is the impact. But in the beginning stages, anytime you do tariff wars, they always impact the people on the ground, and the people on the ground right now are the farmers. Okay, some farmers are saying that they're losing about $30 per pig. Okay, and you know we sell a lot of pork to China. They're losing about $30 per pig, which turns out to be billions of dollars over time. Um, and then the other farmers are the soybean farmers. China, because of the population, can't grow enough soybeans, so they buy the soybean from us or even Brazil. They have cut back buying from Brazil, and they have cut back buying from the United States. And so these farmers, if they had 3 lines of soybeans that they were growing, China would buy one of every 3 lines of soybean. So these farmers are feeling it. Um, some of the farmers in Iowa are losing about 200. Some of the small farmers are losing about $200,000 a year, which means they got to fire people with that type of money. You know what I mean? That's at least 3 to 4 people's salary. So the farmers are being impacted. Now, even though they're being impacted, a lot of these farmers still want to support Donald Trump and his efforts. But the question is, how long can they go on and support Donald Trump? So this is big. This tariff war is big, and you need to know how it's fast because it's going to impact the food first. Therefore, food at your grocery store is going to go up high. So the question is, should Trump be doing this right now? Is it the right move? What's the long-term game, and how do how does the U.S. Make it while this war is going on? Now, based on the tariffs war, is this laying the ground, or is this setting the groundwork for a war between the United States and China? And if you know that China and U.S. go to war, Russia may get in because Russia is good friends with China. So you got to see how all this. Like I said, this is like game banging, man. You got to see how this play out. If China and the U.S. go into a war, and Russia decides to honor their friendship with China because they're more friendly with China than it is with us, then at that point, that's World War III. Because now you got to get the United Kingdom, who are good friends with us, they got to come and back us, right? And then Germany and France got to get in. You got World War III all over, man. You really got to pay attention to this stuff and how the chess pieces move. So the question is war inevitable? And we don't know the answer to that. It depends on how this stuff plays out. And we get a little bit deeper in the presentation. It depends on how this plays out. Nobody knows the answer to that. We don't know what's on the mind of these men who are making these decisions. The other question is America falling into the Thucydides trap? Now, if any of you scholars out there, you know, I believe Dr. Graham Tillett Allison Jr., who was a big government political scientist in the 60s and 70s. I believe he's at Harvard University now, actually, teaching. I'm not sure if he's alive or dead, but if he is alive, which I believe he is, he's probably teaching at Harvard right now. He coined the phrase the Thucydides trap. And those that understand geopolitical issues, those that understand governments, war, have a historical perspective on war, know exactly what this is. The Thucydides trap is when a rising power tries to displace an already established power. Let me say that again. This trap is when a rising power tries to displace an already established power. And based on the Thucydides trap, when that happens, the end result is war. It always end up in war. So what does that mean? China, a rising power. If it's China's intent to replace America, an already established power, that will create the platform for war. Now, the Thucydides trap, the fact that we pointed out, is not to say, hey, let's go to war. It's to say, hey, that don't have to be our destination. There can be a diplomatic way that we resolve this without having to go there. But what we're also saying when we say the Thucydides trap, we're saying that history has shown that anytime you had a rising power coming up against the established power, that accumulated in war. And this is where we are now. Is this war really about tariffs, or is it about something else? And is the uh, war, tariff war, is that a smokescreen to something else bigger? You got to ask yourself this question. Everything that you see in front of you might not necessarily be what it is. It could be something behind the scene that is greater than this war. And the question becomes, is this really about 5G technology? See, if you know anything about Huawei, Huawei is about 2 years ahead of most of the US telecom companies, which means they have access to 5G technology now, and they're able to move on it now, which gives them China the global advantage right now. Let's say the global competitive advantage. If I would take words from Warren Buffett, uh, they have a global competitive, they have a global durable competitive advantage right now because they have a step, they are a few steps ahead of the U.S. government in reference to the 5G technology. And Huawei is the company that's spearheading it, which is a China-owned company. And the U.S. is afraid, okay, that they may be able to hack our systems, our financial systems, our government systems, sort of that thing that they was accusing Russia of doing in the election. Well, Huawei would be able to do it faster, quicker, and better with the technology. So, in order to slow them down, these tariff uh, policies that the Trump administration is implementing is one way to slow that down. Also, Congress, people in Congress, Republicans and Democrats, are suspicious of Huawei's activities. And so this whole move may not be about currency. This whole thing may be about technology. And if it is about technology, then you're going to see more things being progressive. Right now, if you haven't been paying attention, Trump has been real hard on this uh, Huawei company, and it's all about because they have that 5G technology. Now, most of you say, "What is 5G technology? Everybody's talking about it. What does it mean?" Well, I'll give you an example. 1G and 2Gs gave us the ability to send text messages on our phone. That was 1G. 2Gs gave us the message to see video. I mean, gave us the technology to see video. 3G and 4G gave us the technology for all the phones, laptops, and all this stuff to communicate. So imagine what 5G is going to be. We're at 4G now, and all the stuff the phone can do, shopping online, your phone syncing with other people's phone, all your devices being on one platform. All that came out of 4G technology. So when 5G technology come in, this is going to take you into light. This is the beginning of taking you into the light years. So if they already have the technology, they already, man, we can say, quote unquote, a light year ahead of us. And the United States is saying, no, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to shut this thing down. So I wanted to bring this topic out so that y'all can really know what's going on. Again, I want to thank Hot 120 for allowing me to come out and say a few words. Please subscribe to this channel. You already know we're giving you information you're not getting anywhere else. And we explain it. And if you're getting it somewhere else, we're explaining it in a form where you can take it home to your kids and explain it. Please subscribe. Again, I thank One Hot 20 staff for allowing me to come out. Get your shirts, destigmatized shirts. Just go on our Facebook site and you'll be able to get the information for the shirt. Subscribe and all that information will be sent to you as well. Again, this is Mr. H, and I thank Hot 120 for allowing me to come out. Peace.